Based on the clothes we found, she was working as a dominatrix.
If you're hearing our voices, it means it's time for It's This Meets That, the podcast. We watch the worst movies from trailer to end credits, scene by scene, so you don't have to, but maybe you should. I'm Russ.
I'm Jared. It's like there aren't even good quotes to pull.
Yeah, this is a rough one. So we're back here working through our full breakdown of the Netflix film Brazen, which came out this year, 2022. If you didn't listen to the trailer trash, you should. But yeah, why don't you recap us on what this movie's about?
Sure. So, sure.
Sound more excited.
When her sister's killed and her double life as a webcam performer is revealed, Grace ignores the warnings of a cool-headed detective and gets involved in the case. Which, again, I have gripes with how they wrote this, and I much prefer the Google logline instead. Yeah. I feel like it's way more, it's funnier and it's more descriptive in my opinion. So I'm going to read that one to you.
Yeah.
Mystery writer Grace Miller is famous for her instinct for solving crimes.
Oh my God.
When her sister is murdered, she's forced to use all of her talents in an attempt to capture the culprit. I like that one way better. Famous for her instinct for solving crimes.
It's just like a adult, like whatchamacallit, Hardy Boys or something.
Yeah, I feel like that almost makes it better for me. Like the
yeah,
like it makes the movie better retroactively to be like, oh, that's, I guess, okay. She is famous for that. That's a big plot point that I had gripes with.
Yeah, big time. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Expectations and our prognostications. I think we're a little bit off. Just a little bit though.
Yeah, marginally. Some would say.
I was all over the cop. I was all over the cop is being involved. He was not.
Yeah. I don't remember what I said, but I remember it was way off.
Yeah. And political side, I guess there was a little, but not really though. It wasn't there was nothing. It was all red herrings.
Yep.
Right. All the political stuff was just red herrings to make you think that that's what was going to be happening. Right.
Yes. Like with the ex-husband and
and then the senator mom there.
The senator. Yep. Stupid.
Instead, it was even dumber.
It was even worse.
Yeah.
Yep. It was worse than we thought. Way worse than we thought. Because we both, by the end, we turned it into a good movie, remember?
Yeah.
I do remember that part.
Yes, we definitely did. But yeah, so this is, if you missed Trailer Trash, the movie Brazen is based on Nora Roberts' book, Brazen Virtue.
Which I don't understand the title of.
I don't either.
Like now that I've seen the movie, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Who's the brazen person in this? Like,
is it her? Is it Grace Miller?
Is
she being brazen? Because did I forget what the word brazen means? Like, what do we?
Doesn't it just mean like brave? Like
then basically? It would be her.
Yeah, I guess so. It's like because it's like strong, like made of brass, right?
Yeah. Brazen virtue. Like
it's being bold, whatever. Yeah.
All right, quick info.
Info me.
All right. So this was directed by Monica Mitchell, who just crushing TV movies, pretty much everyone involved in this is all TV people.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah. It feels like a Hallmark movie, and a lot of this whole group here has done like TV movies and TV shows. So
yes.
Screenwriters, I think we've called this out before. You have more than 2 screenwriters, it's usually a problem. There's 3 on this one. Nora Roberts is just credited as story by, right?
Okay, that's good, I guess.
Edith Swenson, Donald Martin, and Suzette Couture. And long track record of TV stuff, TV movies, TV shows, stuff like that. Nothing really jumping out though, right?
Not to me.
All working, all getting it done though.
Yeah. We'll never fault the working actor.
Or writer or whatever,
or writer, yeah. Yep. Whoever, if you're in the biz, it's tough. It's tough out there.
You're doing what you love, and it's fantastic. So are we. Actors who's in this, so pod favorite Alyssa Milano.
Right.
I
do love Alyssa Milano. Yeah, from Embrace of the Vampire, famously.
Yep, famously known from Commando and Who's the Boss. She plays author Grace Miller. Sam Page, he plays Detective Ed Jennings in the love interest here. But fun fact, he was in another little ITMT movie called Selfless.
Yeah, maybe you heard of it.
Maybe you listened to it. Maybe you should go listen to it.
Ryan Reynolds is the actual character. This guy's in it for like 2 minutes.
In the very opening, completely forgot about him. But other than that, he's just, again, a bunch of TV stuff, TV shows, TV stuff. I mean, they're all this whole group. Even Alyssa Milano. I mean, she's
Charmed.
TV, right? Yeah, Charmed, right? It's TV.
Yeah,
I'm going to say
Who's
TV.
the boss? Yeah.
How many times do we say TV this episode?
TV.
Malachi Weir. He plays Ben,
Nailed it.
the Ed Jennings partner, who I think is probably the best part of this whole movie.
Yes.
Hands down.
Old Testament warrior Malachi Weir.
Emilie Ullerup. She plays Kathleen / Desiree, who is Grace Miller's sister. Matthew Finlan plays Gerald Baxter. And we have a problem with Gerald being spelled with a J. What's that all about? Yeah.
Psycho move. Yeah, I don't understand. If your name is Gerald with a J and you listen to this podcast, like send us an email about that because I want to know more. Like why? What is it?
Why? What were your parents thinking? Why? What was happening?
Yeah. There's got to be a backstory.
Is there a Gerard with a J? Like what if it's Gerard?
No, of course not.
Gerard Butler.
Ugh.
No good. Moving on. All right. So then there's not a lot of people actually in this movie, but I just pulled the top 5. Alison Araya, Araya. She plays the captain. And then Amira Anderson plays a bookstore manager.
The true hero.
Getting those books out, Production budget, all that stuff. I couldn't find any.
Well, it's Netflix.
Yeah, it's Netflix stuff. So that's we got. So do you want to take a guess?
They paid too much for sure. I can promise you that.
I wonder how much the rights were to we want to snag the rights to do this book as a movie.
Yeah, that I was gonna say that must have been the most expensive part, but no, it definitely is the most expensive part. Like the sets weren't particularly.
Nah, they were in a house. They were in like 2 houses.
Yeah. Do you think it was actually filmed in DC?
No, that was all stock footage.
That's what I thought.
It's gonna be my guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. What do we do next? We do Hollywood pitches. We're just moving along here. We're doing pitches, man. Let's just get.
This is gonna be one of our quicker episodes, I think.
By the way, if you're curious, it was actually shot in Vancouver.
I was gonna guess that only because everything is shot in Vancouver. So
yeah, pretty much.
Not at all surprised.
We are shooting this right now in Vancouver. So
that's right. Every episode of ITMT shot in Vancouver.
Shot in Vancouver. Little. Fast fake fact.
A little behind the music.
Behind the pod. BTP. Okay.
Apparently, never mind. I'll save it for fast facts.
Yeah. We have a whole segment for this.
We have a section for it. You're right.
If we start playing outside the segments, it's just chaos. And
yeah, we've never been known to do chaos or scrap segments. So
we can't do that. Can't go back now.
No, for the fans, for the listeners.
All right. You want to Hollywood pitch me, motherfucker? I'm trying out different ways.
Yeah. Try a different way later. That was okay. This one's a no-brainer for me. It's Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Obviously.
Meets Reverse Sea of Love.
Fantastic. Don't even know what that means. I love it.
Yeah, great.
Please walk me through this.
Okay, so
by the way, if this is all we do for the next hour, 2 hours, I'm totally fine with that. Just talking about other movies in our pitch.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't even want to break this thing we watch. I don't want to get into it.
It was we'll get to it.
We'll get
So like Harry, it's basically the same movie as Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Right?
I mean, come on.
Both have dungeons. So there's that. The killer, they both have a killer. The killer is a scrawny nerd who thinks too highly of himself.
Classic.
Right? Yeah, very sure of himself, sure of his purpose, just like Tom Riddle and whatever the kid's name was in this one. Who cares? Yeah. Spoilers.
Spoilers. Who cares? Both
have a competent female lead, and the men are fairly incompetent and get too much credit.
That's spot on.
The actual main characters, I guess, which in this one is the competent female lead. In Harry Potter are like wealthy people who live like a fantasy life. So for Harry, you know, he's like, wait, I'm a wizard. I'm a wealthy wizard. I thought I was a boy who lived under the stairs. And Alyssa Milano is like, oh, I'm a wealthy writer. Therefore, I can solve crimes.
I work at a hardware store. That means I can build a house.
That's right.
These are all direct correlations.
Yep. Both have couples that end up together that you don't want. So Alyssa Milano and the main guy there don't want that. That's and get unhealthy. Don't care for it.
Yep. Doesn't make any sense.
Yep. And Harry and Ginny, really? Come on. Everyone knows it should have been Harry or Hermione. Right?
Yeah. Writing's right there.
Both have disappointing endings. So this movie, the ending is like fairly anticlimactic and just kind of like fizzles out.
And very weird too. Just the transition. But anyways, we'll get there.
And Harry Potter, he has to go back to the Dursleys' house in the first movie anyway.
Okay.
Sucks. And then the only difference between these two movies is that one author of the book that it's based on, because that's another thing they have in common. Oh
yeah. Okay. Good call. I like that.
One author is a piece of shit, J.K. Rowling, and the other as the author who seems like a pretty nice person from what I've read about her. Don't know anything about Nora Roberts. Don't want to say she's super nice, but like, hey, she seems all right.
Yeah. Inspirational quotes up on her Facebook page.
Yeah. So it's exactly the same movie as Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Yeah. But it's exactly the opposite movie of Sea of Love.
I don't know what Sea of Love is, so walk me through this.
Okay. Sea of Love, speaking of the late 80s, which we're going to a little bit later.
Big fans, right?
Big fans of the late 80s.
Love the late 80s, right? It's a good time, fun time to be a kid.
Al Pacino at the peak of his powers there, I would say. John Goodman in this joint. So I'm surprised you haven't heard of Sea of Love. So it's a movie about a homicide detective who's like piece of shit. His wife left him, and he's like depressed, and he's coming up on his he's been in the forest for too long, and it's that kind of movie. It's the late 80s.
God damn it, I can't take it anymore.
Yes, exactly.
Too old for this shit.
And they also have like sexy mysteries. So this one is like there's a bunch of men who get murdered. Well, this is what I'm getting to. I guess it's the opposites of this. So
it's instead of men, it's women.
Exactly. So it's like the skeevy men that get murdered, which is the skeevy men should have gotten murdered in this one, but it's actually the sex workers, the women who are involved here. Yeah. Opposite, because in Sea of Love, the detective is like mostly competent. Al Pacino is like not a bad detective. Unlike this movie,
terrible.
Where he's not a good detective.
No, he's like a cardboard box just walking around.
Right, exactly. In Sea of Love, the police chief captain character is skeptical that it's a serial killer and is like pushing back on the thing. Whereas in this one, she goes whole hog immediately and is like,
all in.
Oh, let's get consultants that don't belong in a precinct.
Yeah. Let's give the author, you know what? I think this author is onto something. Let's bring them in. Yeah.
Both movies have stupid sting operations. One is successful and one's not. So in Sea of Love, it's not a successful sting operation.
Yeah.
They well, I'll get to that reveal in a second. In this one, the sting operation actually works. Like they treat Alyssa Milano like bait, and they're like, oh, and here's the killer. The end.
The end.
Whereas, and this is the biggest difference, in Sea of Love, they red herring you the whole time, thinking it's one of the women that's doing the murdering, when in actuality it is the ex-husband. And in this movie, it's red herring that it's the ex-husband the whole time, but it's not.
Not the ex-husband. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So reverse Sea of Love meets Harry Potter.
I like it.
Thanks. What do you got?
All right. I mean, we all know how I go, right?
Yep.
Went a little more on the nose here. I'm going, it's Basic Instinct meets Kissing Booth.
Okay.
Another ITMT not favorite.
Good plug.
I mean, this is pretty obvious, right? So Basic Instinct, you got a murder, you got a detective getting involved with an author whose book seems... So they didn't really play that up in this movie, though, did they, much? Like, the book that she wrote wasn't like a mirror of the murder, right?
Yeah.
But, so it doesn't go that far, but we're going to go with author... gets involved, obviously
Yep.
In this movie, she's not killing anyone, but she's getting involved with the case and part of, whatever. So,
yep. And BDSM components.
Yep. Got a little bit of that rocking, right? Meets a kissing booth. I'm going with that because I needed something that has high school kids, because there's high school kids in this movie. And the webcam stuff, it's kind of like a kissing booth type of thing, right? It's where people are coming together to,
It's an element of voirism. And,
right?
Okay.
Like, we're all sitting here paying money to watch people kiss, So I'm gonna go with that. The high school thing, also the kind of like the obsessive like love connection thing too, right? Because like in kissing booth, there's like a lot of like obsessive behavior everyone has for each other, and
that's right.
And like this movie, spoilers, but the killer is a high school kid who is obsessed with, a webcam.
Yeah. Wish there were more murders in Kissing Booth.
Would have.
Kissing Booth.
Right. Oh, shit. Right. The Kissing Booth. So yeah, that's it. That's what I'm going with. Basic Instinct meets Kissing Booth.
I like it. Short and sweet.
Yeah. That's where I'm at. You want me to fast fact you, baby?
Sure. Let's do it.
All right. So fast facts here.
We'll probably split these because I've got a couple. You got a couple.
These are pretty garbage. These aren't really, they're facts, but they're not trivia, right?
Correct.
This is based on Nora Roberts' novel from 1988, Brazen Virtue.
Yeah.
Took that long to get it to the big screen, huh?
Some say Sea of Love, inspired by Brazen Virtue. 1989 came out a year later.
I think I'm going to read these I'm going to read them, and then let's break these down as to why they're not trivia.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So this one seems obvious.
Yeah. So in the opening scene, Grace Miller, Alyssa Milano's character, is reading her, from her book at her book reading at a bookstore there.
Yeah.
From a copy of Nora Roberts' book, Brazen Virtue.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of problems with that. One, the title of the book that she's reading from is Brazen Virtue, which is the real world book, but it's written by Grace Miller. So it's not really Nora Roberts' book. But I'm wondering, is the dialogue she's reading actually from the book, like the Brazen Virtue book?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Maybe that's what this is saying.
Yeah,
so
I could see that.
I don't know if I'd call that trivia, though.
I don't think I would either.
Okay.
Decidedly, right?
Yeah. Moving on to the next one then. Then someone just list out like...
Sorry, just to linger on that one for a second.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned in Trailer Trash, make the character the Nora Roberts. Like, why are we going out of our way here to obscure the... Like, it's very frustrating.
I think it really confused people.
Yeah, it's upsetting. Anyway,
this one, but this isn't. I guess this is a fact, but it's a fact, but it's not trivia. But the next one is like both Alyssa Milano and Emilie Ullerup worked with Shannon Doherty.
Oh,
then it just says where, and it's like, well, you're just reading someone's resume. Sure, that's not.
Yeah.
I guess it's that trivia. I mean, it's like a 6 degrees separation type of thing. Like,
it's not like interesting trivia. Like, it's not like when we do ones where they're like, oh, this is the 8th movie that these two people have worked in together. Like that's trivia, at least.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I still don't love those ones, but like, at least that's interesting. This is like, oh yeah, these people were in things that were also other and other things.
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
Now the last one, which is flagged as a spoiler, but whatever. It's kind of stupid. It's why, but it says a serial killer murders 3 or more people over a period of time, not 2, as stated by one of the detectives. Now, it's not entirely true. So yeah, I mean, 3 or 4, same MO, serial killer, but some departments will say a serial killer isn't. They won't flag someone as a serial killer until it's 4, but as minimum is 2. So it's not even right.
Sure isn't, buddy.
So
sure isn't. Hate it. Man. Not happy about it.
Not even the fast facts are good for this. And then the only other thing we learned today, though, which I mean, that kind of makes sense. So if you're hanging an American flag vertically, you want the stars, the blue and the stars in the top left corner.
That's right. We did learn something today.
Right. Because apparently there's a goof in the movie where in the gymnasium at the school, it's got the stars up in the top right corner, which is upper right, which is not accurate. So
that makes sense.
Go check your flags and make sure they're hung properly.
Yeah. There's one thing that we care about at ITMT. It's
flag hanging.
Code.
Yes.
The flag code specifically.
Yes. I don't have time to be bothered with people who don't know how to hang a flag correctly.
No. Oh, ugh.
Yeah. So everyone out there who's got them hanging outside, go check them now while you're listening to us.
Pause the podcast.
Not even. Put in your headphones, walk outside, check it.
Yeah, fair enough. Do you want to talk about the controversy?
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you want me? Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Well, you found it. I didn't know.
Oh, right. So the other, I mean, this isn't really a fast fact. Well, whatever, it's getting it.
It's a slow fact. Yeah,
it's a slow fact. But anyways, because there's nothing else. This movie is everything about this sucks, even the fast facts. But all right,
speaking of slow,
yeah, getting there. There's a big controversy over Alyssa Milano being casted as Grace Miller in this. Apparently, all of Nora Roberts. A good chunk of them,
a good vocal chunk of them,
right? Cried out because they didn't like Alyssa Milano being cast as Grace Miller because of her involvement in the #MeToo movement and because of her criticisms of former U.S. President Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's pretty funny because Nora Roberts is not like a big Trump person.
No. Stated multiple times, but she also came to defense of Alyssa Milano. Apparently it was on her Facebook page and people were just like writing terrible things and just being nasty.
No one's ever written terrible things on Facebook before this.
No. This really set the ground. This is like set the precedent for that being okay.
That's right. This is the year of our Lord 2022.
Yep. It wasn't until now that people realized they could write nasty shit on Facebook. It just seemed, so it's kind of weird, kind of stupid, but
yeah. She was like, she's like, I very intentionally don't put politics in my book because I'm like not well enough. Yeah. Like, I don't want to put that out as like my opinions are not that important to me in that way.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you had anything else on that because I was going to skip to the interview, which is
that's it. I don't even want to give any more to it.
Actually, before I get to the interview, I do have like a real kind of almost fast fact. It's not
hit me.
It's trivia adjacent. So I don't know if you caught one of the 80 studios that worked on this movie, Mandalay Pictures, formerly part of Lionsgate and responsible for a bunch of good movies.
Yes. Mandalay Pictures. Mandalay Pictures I know of.
Yeah. Well, you also know of them because tying it again to more plugs for ourselves here.
They did something with Nicolas Cage, didn't they?
Nope. The Last Days of American Crime, the very first episode.
Wait, the episode we're trying to get people not to listen to, you're plugging right now?
That's right. Yep,
okay.
That's right. Right. That's exactly. Well, at this point, if you're listening to this episode, you're deep in it enough that
you're hardcore. Or you're new. Just don't go listen to that one.
We used to be not as good. So go if you want like a worse version of this, go listen to that.
Yeah. Our second highest downloaded episode.
That's right.
Last Days of American Crime.
That's right. Very frustrating. But yeah, so I thought that was funny. But then also like a million good movies like Donnie Brasco and 7 Years in Tibet and I Know What You Did Last Summer and Les Miserables and other new Netflix one, Uncorked. That's pretty good that they covered over on Worth Watching Once. Little Evil, that other new Netflix one. Did you see that with Adam Scott? Really funny.
I like Adam Scott.
I love Adam Scott. The Kids Are All Right, Enemy at the Gates, Sleepy Hollow, Tim Burton, Sleepy Hollow. Like
Mr. Walken.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Mandalay
Pictures, super legit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What are you doing here? Why did you do this?
Taking a bet.
Anyway, that was my big gripe with Mandalay Pictures. But
well, you got to think like this is like Nora Roberts is. She's a pretty very well known author in the romance thriller kind of department, right? So
right.
And we talk about the same thing with what was the last movie we just did? It was a book.
The last movie we just did that was a book. Artemis Fowl.
No, god damn it! Literally, the movie we did.
What did we do in the last couple of weeks? What year is this? Who's president?
I can't even.
Donald J. Trump. Donald T. Trump.
Donald T. Trump.
Oh God, I don't want that.
The lucky one.
Nicholas Sparks, lucky one. How could we? Oh my God, what a nightmare!
When you're like, you imagine you're a studio and you're like, okay, this is going to cost us like $10 to make, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's already got a built-in audience with all of her readers, right? Yep. And it's like, cool, make this movie for $10, and Netflix is going to probably buy it for a couple million. Sure.
Oh, easy.
Sold.
Yeah.
So it's like it's like a no-brainer, right? If she's got millions of people who are reading her, get half them coming to watch it.
Fuck it.
That's it. Fuck it. Why not make a fucking wet cardboard box of a movie? And
wild.
That's what this movie felt like. It felt like someone just was hitting me repeatedly in the face with like wet cardboard.
Yes. Yep.
Actually, it wasn't even that interesting.
No, because wet cardboard, like
That'd be
then
fun.
there's a story you can tell. You could be like, oh yeah,
how'd the cardboard get wet? What is it wet with? You know?
Yeah, I was in the middle of this fight with Zac Efron and this homeless guy in LA, and like there was cardboard everywhere.
Homeless guy peed on the box. Zac Efron went for the
Zac Efron peed on the box.
He peed on the box, right? Jack Efron grabbed that wet box and started hitting me in the face with it.
That's right.
It's chaos.
Now, there's a story.
Now that, my friend, is a story.
So,
yeah, this
Mandalay Pictures.
Are we starting? We're getting into it. Are we getting into it?
No. Sorry, I was going to say okay. I had that interview still, so that was the what I was getting to. But it's very brief. There's like 3 questions that I thought were funny.
I won't say anything. I'll let you get through it.
For some reason, this interviewer is a fan of this movie, and asked, starting it up, can we please get an Alyssa Milano true crime Netflix universe, because I want to see a movie every year that stars Grace, the character of this. Did we watch the same movie?
Is there blood coming out of my nose right now?
Yes, actually, lots, too much. Listeners, you can't see it, but Russ is a mess.
I think my brain is slowly fucking oozing itself out of my nose.
Yeah, on the day after his birthday.
This is what ends it. This is it.
Yeah. Yeah, you had a good run. You know what'll make you feel better? Her response.
Oh my god! Can I hold a pen in my beard? Look at that. I can. That's more interesting than this movie.
Yeah, you're gonna want to bite down on that pen, because as I tell you that Alyssa Milano said, "Let's do it. I will totally do it. I'm on board." I loved shooting this movie. I love the experience. I love the freedom that Netflix allowed us, and how it was important for them to be authentic and for this to be a good movie. I'm super proud of it. What?
Hey, I appreciate she knows what she's doing. She knows how to hype. She's hyping it, and she's then that's
but
she knows she's this is the world she lives in.
I know, but there are ways to get around that without being like so disingenuous. It's like without saying I love that Netflix, how it was so important for them for this to be a good movie. How can you say that with a straight face?
Yeah.
So frustrating.
Yeah, it's a little frustrating. It's like, have you seen any other movie ever?
Yeah. Yes. No. And clearly this person has not, because this is definitely one of those interviews where it's like, small website, somebody just like trying to get a hold of Alyssa Milano. They're like, we'll be very complimentary. Don't you wait. The next question is, you're a big part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in a way.
The Milano.
Yep, that's right. Because Peter Quill's ship is named the Milano.
Yeah.
I assume you had to get permission for that, but I'm also just very curious to hear. Alyssa Milano interjects, I had no idea. And then what do you think of that? It's pretty cool. It really is. It's one of the more cool things I think that's happened in my life, which is good. But then she goes, the interviewer follows it up with, so Alyssa Milano exists in the MCU as Alyssa Milano, and she's
where
like,
they're going here. Where they going?
Yeah, yeah. No, that's kind of where they ended. That's where I'm like, that's where I wanted more. And she's like, haha, yeah. And like, I think that's really cool. No, that was an interesting line of questioning. Now I kind of want so frustrating.
Oh my god.
So there's that, and then just like not a surprise at all, but the last question was basically like around. I'm just gonna paraphrase. It's not super interesting. Basically, they're like, "Oh, Netflix does really good rom-coms, so I would love them to do just as good with true crime like this." And Alyssa Milano's like, absolutely, like, and I'm the real market for that. Like, there's obviously a market for it. It's like, I made a movie that I would watch. That's what's the best part about this. So I hope you watch this, Alyssa Milano, and see the travesty you've done and recognize it as it is, even though we love you / fuck you if you want to be on the podcast, but like, this is a crime.
The actual crime is the murder that's happened to our eyeballs.
Yes. Cinema crime. Mandalay Pictures. How could you?
How could you? How dare you?
That's everything I wanted to say about that.
All right, so should we get through this piece of celery?
Yep.
This wet cardboard.
I hate celery.
I do too.
Unless it's in soup.
All right, let's get to it. So opens up, we get Mandalay Pictures, right? Who we've discussed.
Super cool logo.
Yeah, the little rawr, lion, tiger, not lion, tiger.
Cool animation. That was, you can't see it, listeners, but I'm doing tiger motions with my hands.
Stephanie Germain, right? Productions.
Yep. Yeah, I was like, is that just some rich person?
It was like, I've got lots of money.
She's a huge
Nora Roberts.
Nora
fan?
Roberts fan. Yeah, exactly.
Probably.
Do I have to be a movie studio? Yes. Yeah. Just put pictures or something there.
Yeah, American TV, television, and film producer. Notable credits include The Day After Tomorrow, the Nora Roberts film collection. There you go. There, that's where it all happens. So.
I'm glad we solved that.
All right, let's get moving through this. Okay, so we got Stephanie Germain, Mandalay Pictures.
I'm here to slow us down. So.
Yep. This is why we balance each other, right? So then we cut to we got someone doing some hacking, doing brute password attempts and some code that I'm not sure is legit.
A lot of 90s like tech noises.
Yeah.
Computers make so many noises.
Yeah, it's like what? I definitely was doing a lot of pausing, looking at all the code there, and it was like longitude, latitude. I'm like, I don't know if do they need that? Would they express that?
Nope.
No. And then like definitely the thing that says like brute force attack, go find the password. So someone's basically
function brute force attack.
Function brute force attack, go. So someone's hacking into Fantasy Incorporated, which is basically the OnlyFans, or it's it's a fetish.
BDSM focus, yeah, I guess
it's a fantasy website.
Well, it's not really like an OnlyFans. It's more like a camming.
Yeah,
like you interact with the people, but like not a foreign concept. Everyone's been there, right?
Yeah. And then this person's hacking into this one of the
mainframe.
Yeah. I've hacked into the mainframe. Now what? Take all the files, all of them. And he's hacking into they are hacking into Desiree, a specific, fantasy reliever, fantasy performer. Yeah. And there you go. Then we cut to the Zen Den, right?
Wait, is that what it's called?
No, that's what I called it.
Oh, okay.
The sex dungeon.
I guess I don't hate it. Yeah, let's go sex dungeon.
Sex dungeon.
More descriptive.
Yeah. I don't know.
But yeah, I like the Zen Den. That's kind of nice.
I think my walk-in closet's big enough to be a Zen Den or a sex dungeon.
Oh.
Yeah. I think I
two ways to find out.
Yeah, you just do it, right? You just do it. You just make it happen, and you're like, here's my sex dungeon.
I mean, and then once you do it, it is the kind of thing that you show off to people.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I wouldn't padlock it. I'd be like, oh, look at that. The door's open. What's in there?
Oh, weird.
Oh, what are you into?
Whoa, it seems like who built this really, really nice sex dungeon?
I'd almost call it a Zen den. So we got our main Desiree here, Kathleen, aka Kathleen Miller, aka Desiree, aka Breezewood, sorry, and aka sister of Grace Miller, right?
Yep.
She's doing sexy stuff, right?
Wearing a weird mask.
It's not weird, Jared.
No, you're right. Just a mask.
We don't do that here. It's just a mask.
You're right. It's just a mask.
All right, then we get the title. Oh, no, I'm sorry. So then we get, we're setting up that we get this little secret life that Kathleen here has. And Kathleen comes out of the Zen Den, and she's checking the padlock.
Signs off for the day. She's putting that work life behind.
Why does she need a padlock on the door? Like, I think a padlock on a door is just like, oh man, I really want to get in that room. What's in there? Just
maybe it's for when her kid like has visitation and like
just lock the door. Just have a regular old lock.
Yeah.
And you don't have the kid, so
a lot of options.
A lot of things going on here. We got a lot of problems in this movie. But anyways, all right. So then, so there you go. You got a hacker hacking into her account, and then you got her doing sexy time stuff in the Zen Den, and then we get the title card, Brazen.
That's right.
And then we cut to the book reading of stuff from the trailer. Grace Miller, Alyssa Milano. We see her.
Meanwhile, very frustratingly, the credits are still rolling, and they're still making annoying little tech noises every time they pop up. Did you catch that?
I didn't.
Oh yeah, she's reading from the book, and it's like,
oh yeah, doing like a little
Denise Miller, like why would you do this? Like, why make the noise still? Really taking me out of the movie.
Yeah, it's also what's the why the push for this tech vibe when this isn't?
Yeah, it made it feel like, or they're trying to make it feel like a hacker movie.
It's not at all.
Know your audience. Like, they don't care about this.
Yeah,
who are you trying to impress?
So she's doing a book reading with all of her big fans there. Oh, we didn't see if Nora Roberts was in the audience. That's one thing we said in the.
Oh man, yeah. Let's just say she was. She definitely was.
Fuck it. She was in there. So Nora Roberts in there, and so she's reading from the book. And now I'm curious. I'm wondering from our fast facts here. We said someone's like, oh, reading from a copy of Brazen Virtue. Now I'm wondering, was she actually reading from the real world book Brazen Virtue from 1988?
Oh, I mean, maybe, but they swapped the jacket out either way.
Yeah. They swapped the jacket out, and it was Brazen Virtue by Grace Miller. She's a bestseller. We get that all set up right up immediately.
Which, I mean, have your buddies buy a couple of books, you're a bestseller.
So we get that sense. She gets in her private car there, and she's hopping on a flight. We get a shot of DC, I think, right?
Yep.
She's going to DC, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the whole time this is happening, like while all this is going on, the music, like you can tell it's a Lifetime movie. Like it's got that like piano kind of dreamy.
Yes.
This movie is very good at feeling like a Lifetime movie.
Yeah.
I assume this was going for more of like a what's the red one that just came out that people didn't like that I
Red
thought
Notice?
was okay.
Red
Yeah.
Notice?
Like I wanted this. I expected this to be that because it's supposed to be like thrillery.
Yeah,
But I'm like, no, this is very Lifetime-y.
This is exactly what I was expecting, but what I wanted it to be, like, this is gonna be like a Basic Instinct. Like, just do that.
Yeah, sure. Again, it's like a thriller.
Yeah, like a real
thriller.
Sure, you get the source material for like the things that happen, but then beef it up a notch. Like,
yes.
Anyways, so meeting up at his sister's house here in Vancouver, DC, right?
Yep.
So we're in DC, and we have like an awkward kind of sister greeting. Like, it seems like they are good, but they haven't talked in a while, or I don't know. It's very strange, right?
Yeah, and like the lines. This is where I was getting at earlier when I said there are no good quotes. Like the script just stinks. Like the sister's like, "Oh, I didn't expect you to come so soon," and she's like, "Well, you said it was urgent," and she was like, "Well, yeah, but right now." If your sister asks you, like, I don't know, like if my sister texted me and was like, "Hey, I need urgent help," I'd be like, "All right, I'll get on a plane, I guess." Like,
I'll get in a car. I'll be there. Like,
exactly.
First of all, what's happening? Two,
right.
There's someone who can, hold the fire until I get there. Like, so, all right. So they have this awkward sister greeting here, and then so they're inside now, and Alyssa Milano is like kind of having like this random childhood memory. Yeah, and his sister's like
backstory.
Yeah, useless. It's like
she's like, "Oh, well, yeah, when we used to do those plays together," and she's like, "Well, Grace, you wrote the plays. I just made the popcorn."
Yeah, right. Yeah, we know she's
a writer.
She's writing.
For fuck's sake, that's the whole premise of this movie so far. And then she's like, "Can I get you a coffee?" Because it's like 11 o'clock in the morning, and Grace is like, "Wine, please." Yes. Like, okay, really leaning in.
Yeah, so the sister doesn't seem like a big drinker. By the way, I got hung up on this, but did you notice how hard it was to open that bottle of wine for the two of them?
Yes. Yeah. Like they definitely made them do it on set live. They're like, "Yo, just open the bottle of wine like you normally would. Like a normal person opens a bottle of wine." And they're like, "Ah."
And like the sister was having such a hard time with it. And then Alyssa Milano grabs it. It's like, okay, maybe the sister's not a big drinker, right? Okay, that's a way to show that. Okay, I'm okay with that.
Alyssa great. Yeah.
And she grabs it, and like literally the cork is like all the way out. And then she's kind of like fiddling with it. And then she's just like, "Oh, it's out." I was like, what is going on? Why is this so fucking distracting? Just open the bottle of wine. Really, and then it's just a exposition bomb just dropped on us, right? Like literally the sister just outlines it all. She was on pills. She walked out on her kids or son, whatever. She's got a divorce. And then telling us something else.
I'm a teacher. Now I'm not on drugs.
High school drama English. I'm not on drugs.
I want my son back.
It's like, holy shit.
My husband thinks women are expendable. Okay, just tell them. Give me all the facts.
Yeah. Guess you guys haven't caught up in a while, huh?
Yeah, they're doing way better at fast facts than we ever do.
Yeah. It's fast, it's concise, just gives you everything right there.
Like everything else in this movie, it's wicked choppy. So they're like, okay, and then to the convenience store.
So it's like, and we're done.
What?
And then we're at a convenience store. And Jesus Christ, this whole thing was weird.
Detective Jennings.
I don't know. I have no intentions of robbing a place ever, but if you were going to rob a place, sure. I don't know, we'll see what happens the next couple of years, but life could take a turn. Sometimes you need to do things, right?
Yeah. Property crimes aren't real crimes.
Right? So this guy runs in just with a gun, robbing the place, no mask at all. Just like, yep, what up? I'm robbing this place.
Yep.
Did you put any thought into this guy? Did you put in like...
Not really, other than wow, what a dummy. Like, really?
Do you know how people are identified? It's usually by their faces.
Yeah, this guy just stinks. I mean, I'm sure he's down on his luck.
Hey,
just looking to get a quick buck.
Maybe that's what he's got to do. So he comes in hot, going to rob the place. You know what? Bad timing there, guy, because he's robbing the place when our hero here, Ed Jennings, detective,
just so happens,
Detective Edward Jennings, happens to be buying some coffee.
The world's greatest.
And we get a little fist of cuffs, a little falling into display stands, knocking over the SpaghettiOs, knocking over everything.
Speaking of world's greatest detectives, I forgot to tell you,
Batman.
Watched the Batman yesterday. Yeah,
the Batman. Yeah. What'd you think?
Spoilers for the Batman. It's pretty good. I liked it.
It's like a half hour too long. They could have cut a half hour.
Yes, yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
I'm leaving this all in, by the way, because this is way more interesting than talking about this movie. So
I figured that's why I brought it up. I was like, we can talk about the Batman for a minute.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah,
half hour too long.
Ace hated it. She fell asleep for a good chunk of it.
It's too long. You don't need that much. The Joker thing at the end felt shoehorned in. Don't do that.
I liked that.
I did not like that.
Okay.
Not every Batman movie needs to exist with the fucking Joker involved. We all know who the Joker. We all know the Joker is like the big draw. That felt like a DC note being like, I gotta squeeze in the Joker. It's like it felt so forced. It was like, no.
I liked it because it set up a sequel nice.
You don't need to. You need to set up. It's Batman. Yeah. You just fucking make it.
I know, but like,
what do you need to set anything up for? Just make the movie and end it and be like, we all know the world. We all know Joker exists. We all know he's going to be around. Like,
I think for me, I wanted to see if they ruined it. I'd be like, I don't want to. Do I want to sit through another Robert Pattinson Batman movie? Yeah. If it's like this one was fine, but it was way too long, and I was like, okay, like I could see just like this one where I waited to see it for months after it came out.
Yeah.
Would I do the same thing for the next one? I was like, oh, I actually like the kid from Eternals there.
Yeah, Barry Canaire. He's Irish. Barry Canaire. He just got arrested too for like assault or something.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, well, never mind. I hate that guy now.
Yeah, something. Or I don't know. You got in a bar fight. He's Irish. Whatever, that happens, right?
Wait. Mutual combat? Wait, they don't have that in Ireland. No.
No, you just fight. No, you just fight, and it's fucking whatever.
Right. Now I've got mixed feelings again. But yeah, I didn't hate that part. It was fine. Like I know what you mean. It definitely was unnecessary. It could have been not in it. But I watched the deleted scene afterwards. There was a whole scene. And I was like,
did you follow you just saw it, but if you follow the website and answer a bunch of riddles, you unlock the video, which I'm into that. I love viral
not
stuff.
Anymore. The website's been seized by the Gotham Police Department.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
If you go to it now.
Rada.com.
Oh, don't give it away. Go do a mystery, listeners, for a different movie that we're not talking about. Paul Dano's good though. I thought he was definitely the best part of the movie.
Paul Dano is definitely great, right? But I mean, the movie is definitely it's Seven meets Batman.
That's what Thais was saying, yeah.
Which I mean, it's fine. It's good. I like the world. It always felt like Gotham City. It didn't feel like Pittsburgh or Chicago, where the other ones were filmed. The Nolan ones were filmed. Like it felt like, oh, this is Gotham City. This is like a kind of a comic booky gothic vibe, which I thought they did a really good job with.
90s Batman kind of.
Someone pointed out to me, I'm not going to take credit for noting this, but re-listen to the Batman's theme.
You mean Something in the Way?
Or the Imperial March just slowed down.
Yeah, definitely that too. Yeah. For me, I think that I interpreted it as going in the direction of borrowing from Something in the Way because they used it.
They used it in the trailer. Yeah.
Yeah. But Thais said the same thing. And I mean, you could definitely hear it. It's definitely the Imperial March too. But Thais was saying the same thing. She was like, oh, why is it Darth Vader music? This is and I was like, fair enough. I was like, I'm interpreting it as Something in the Way, so it's less distracting to me. And I will choose to do that. I didn't
even pick up on it. I just liked it. And I was like, oh, I wonder why I like it. And so I mentioned, I was like, that's probably why I like it. I actually didn't, when I watched it, I've watched it twice now, but like it didn't register with me. And then afterwards I was like, I really like this. And it didn't click. And then someone mentioned, I was like, oh, that's probably why I subconsciously like it.
Yeah. I think like 10, 15 minutes in the movie, we were both like,
you're just like,
I've heard this before.
Yeah.
I've heard it 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the movie, but again, also Imperial March.
Yeah.
But I agree. But I mean, either way, it was the music was good enough,
and everyone was great. All the actors were awesome in it. I thought Colin Farrell as the Penguin was probably the best part. I thought he was
way
hilarious.
better than Yeah, way better than I expected. The car chase was good, but too long.
Yeah, I dig the car chase because they kind of did like, it felt like they did a throwback to like French Connection type stuff where like it was a little more kinetic and it like they had the camera mounted like to the wheel, which is not a thing they do in car chases anymore, but it was very like that and like Ronin type of like, I don't know. Yeah. I thought it was really good. But yeah, it was a little long, but I still really liked it. All right, now that we spent a good half hour talking about another movie. So now we're at the sister's house.
Hey, we're in the second scene.
Second scene of the movie just watched. So then this is where we're back to the sister's house, and she's basically laying out her plan of blackmail. It was her blackmailing the husband,
right? Exactly. Which apparently they co-own the house, so she needs Grace's approval on her mortgage.
I didn't. None of this made it any math.
Well, so I think that's what they're counting on. I think they're like, oh, the people watching this but don't know anything about mortgages.
Yeah, just fucking yap. I was like, what? None of this? What? This doesn't make any sense. And I was like,
I've been renting for decades.
Yeah, I'm gonna ignore what they're saying right now. Like, I know enough about mortgage to be like, what? I don't get this. Why is this? This doesn't make any sense.
And then we talk about how Grace's books are about the exploitation of women and the patriarchy. That's what she wants us to think they're about.
And the sister actually says like, hey, you write trashy novels about women getting killed.
Right, exactly. And she's like, no, they're about the patriarchy. And you're like, really? Come on. And then Kathleen cries.
And they're all, and scene. But then later night, she's just in bed, she's crying, and then
still crying, right?
I'm a bad mom who abandoned her boy. I abandoned my boy. And doesn't want to lose.
Because she is a bad mom, right? That's okay. It's okay to recognize and learn from your mistakes, grow, try again, but also, your boy doesn't have to accept you either.
Yeah, learn from your takes, but then the sisters are all good because she's like, of course I'd show up. We're sisters.
We're sisters.
We still have all our makeup on. Let's go to bed. And then we cut to
Alyssa Milano.
My best Alyssa Milano right there. That's it's because we're sisters. Of course I'd be here. All right, so then we get a hacker doing some hacky shit, right?
Yep.
Basically just gets the address of Desiree here, a.k.a. Kathleen, a.k.a. Grace's sister.
I just hate calling this person a hacker, but
I
know what you mean.
Yeah, it's...
That's what they want you to believe. Yeah. Then like the next shot was weird to me. I don't know. I called it out as just being like a weird, like the zoom through the cherry trees.
Yeah. It was like a weird like drone.
No, it was a drone shot. It
definitely was a drone shot, but it was just like, why?
Why?
I mean, maybe it was to show that the hacker was like found their address and like it was very kind of like, because it blended in, right? Because like he Google searched it and then it kind of faded into the shots. I'm like, yeah, I'll give you a little artistic creativity there, but
I mean, I imagine it being like, guys, we have to spend every cent of Netflix money or they won't give us as much next time. What's the last thing we need?
Yeah,
$100. Let's get a drone.
Yeah. How much does a drone operator cost? $150. Yeah. Fuck. All right, whatever, get them.
Sold.
And then this is just Coincidence City right here, right?
Oh my God, I hate this scene. Is so enraging for me.
Coincidence City, here we go. So we get the drone shot and we get the sister leaving to go teach the youth of America here. Yeah. And then we got Grace upstairs. She's, I'm working on my next novel.
Yeah, starts typing away, but
someone's doing housework.
Because she's in the suburbs.
Yeah.
There's always construction happening in the suburbs in general.
Yeah. So she opens up the window and she's like, hey, oi, fucking piece of shit.
Oi, you there with the saw.
Yeah. If you didn't think you're going to escape an English accent in this one, huh? Oi, you with the saw. Lose a finger. So she barks at him from the window and he's like, I'm just doing one more and I'll be all done. And she's like, measure twice, cut woods.
I hate all of this. So the scene is so stupid. Also, like he just started doing stuff for the day. He's got one more to cut. Like what?
That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. What do you do? What do you work for an hour?
I mean, he's on his vacation, but like if you're doing a project, I don't know.
Yeah, get it done. Start. So then I don't want to so angry. Just like piece of shit. Put in a full day. All right. So then, so this is the cop, by the way. This is the Coincidence City here. Is that it's the cop from the beginning.
Detective
just happens to live next door. Detective Ed Jennings. So he's chopping wood. Yeah. Alyssa just decides to sneak in through his. Hey, your gate was open, so I thought I'd just walk in and give you coffee.
And flirt with you, right?
My gate was open. Doesn't mean
your house is my favorite one on the block. He's like, what's happening? Like This movie did so much of that where they just like move the scenes along too quickly.
Yeah.
like none of this feels natural.
No, absolutely not. No, it's like a block of something happening so we can get to the next thing happening. Right. It's like nothing's cohesive. There's no connecting tissue here.
Yes.
And then she just shows up with a cup of coffee, assuming he likes coffee, which is
sure.
He's like, yeah, I don't do coffee. It's a little foreshadowed for later for a little setup for, So he's like, wait a second.
I'm Grace Miller.
I know your fucking face, don't I?
Oh, you without the saw.
Boy, you without the saw and the cup of coffee. I fucking recognize you. And he's like, hold on. So he just leaves a stranger in his backyard and goes inside, and he's got the stack.
Alyssa Milano, non-threatening.
yeah, with their combat boots. Yeah. And he just runs inside and has this stack of Grace Miller books. He's a fan.
Big Grace head.
not the demographic I was expecting, but hey, read what you like. Comes back out. He's like, I thought I recognized your face, and she's like, oh, I'll sign it if you got a pen.
I see it every time I fondle my books. Your books. Didn't mean fondle. That was the.
But in the meantime, she did some quick Googling. So we're all caught up in who everyone is here. She did some quick Googling, and just so happens this is Detective Ed Jennings, the hot detective who solves some crazy cases.
Yeah.
And ton of exposition about how cool he is, because he is cool as school.
He's like, I got a week off. Let's solve a murder together. Is how they end that scene. That's how they end that scene.
Let's do it. Let's set up how this is going to go.
It's so frustrating.
All right. So then we're at school. We got to keep moving here. So we're
school. The kids all seem very suspicious immediately. Like this is when shortly after this, I feel like I was like, oh, it's definitely one of the kids.
Yeah, it was just like one of these kids are definitely why introduce this whole kid theme?
So they're like, you get one kid saying to tweet or not to tweet. That's the question. And she's like, oh my God, you're so clever.
And this is a sister. Oh, I'm not sure. Sorry if you said this, but it's a
Kathleen,
sister, right?
Sorry.
Kathleen. But and then they get a paper they got to work on. How would Hamlet feel in our digital age?
Well, that's why the kid says that. To tweet,
right?
To tweet, yeah.
Yes.
But it's not clever. It's deep.
So yeah, they're at the Bishop McConnell School, and then we get the dopey kid from the trailer who comes up after class. Right? He's just like, oh hey, Kathleen, hey. And she's like, you're a good student, but you're fucking sucking it up right now, basically. And so they're basically a red herring again, right? Like, make us think it's him.
Yeah, he looks like he's the one from the trailer.
And then it cuts.
Then we get the kid. Then we get the murderer kid who comes up and says, "Oh, I just wanted to talk to you, but another time."
Yes.
And then I was like, "Oh, that's the guy."
That's the guy.
Immediately, it's like, well, okay, and this movie's
crime solved.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. Grace Miller, you're actually not that good. Yeah. ITMT, we're good.
Yeah.
Nailed it. There's a quick cut to Grace finding the Zen den, right?
Yes. Well, this is when Grace calls.
Or maybe I screwed up my timing here because
this is then. So because that's when Grace calls on the phone. It's like then.
But right. So that's right. Okay, yeah. So she's on.
Like, can I borrow that cute top? Like going on a date with that detective next door. And she's like, oh, you work fast because you have to say something because this movie is so stupid if you don't acknowledge that it's stupid. In movie, I mean. And then that's when Grace looks over and goes, did you build a safe room? She's like, well, not exactly. I'll explain later.
If by safe room you mean Zen den?
Yeah, not exactly. I'll explain later. Okay, bye. Like that's it. It's so fucking.
And then there's like a shot of like another creepy person watching. Basically, the movie's just setting up all these red herrings. And then we cut back to the sister's house.
Yep.
And we got a quick screen time with the son, which we only see for a minute. It's a shot from the trailer. So we just get a little, emotional connection here, which means nothing later because the kid doesn't show up ever again. And there's no connection at all that the fact that this kid would be devastated his mother would be dead. But
yeah, I think he's in it like one more time for like two more seconds, but like he's not a factor.
Yeah. And then dad shows up and dad's like, kid, you're like 5. Why do you have a cell phone? Let's go. Cut it off.
So then somebody calls her.
And she's bummed. Yes. And then Yep. She gets a client call direct being like,
tonight's not good. And she's like, well, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wait, you just said
So she gets the call to go do some Zen denning. And then when she goes up there to prep, we get the old Chekhov's gun, right? Boom. There it is.
That's right. Yeah.
The gun, which will come back later.
Yep. Then she closes the door and gets into shenanigans.
Not so subtle.
So then we cut to dinner where it's Grace is out on a date with Detective Ed. They're talking about the case because they discussed a case. They're talking about a case.
Was it a case or was it a scene that she wrote from one of her books and he was trying to figure it out? And then she was like, okay.
I think it's a case. Sorry, a case from the book or
okay,
not a real case, but like just a case that they're discussing.
Yeah. And she's like, can you figure out how he got out?
They ruled out the suicide. The door was locked from the inside. How'd the killer get out?
Because the victim was never dead.
Yeah, so stupid.
And after hearing that, I'm like, is that where that's where we're headed in this movie, aren't we?
Yep.
So we cut back to the cop house here, right?
Yeah, so he takes her home to his house, which is next to her house.
Yeah, basically. So
and then he like gives her a tour of his house. He's like, here's my unfinished house. Like, let's do a little pretend scene where she's like, I'll pretend I'm chopping something in the kitchen and you can hand me that pan and that way we can flirt with each other more.
Yeah. Trying to build like a thing between the two of them, but it doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah. And then meanwhile, Kathleen is in the red room here doing whipping the air. And this is when we get the first good sound effects.
Thanks, man.
Our first time we see our hero here, the murderer. So then we cut back to the Detective Jennings and Grace. Grace is like, well, of course I want to see you again. Like, ugh. And then it's like Lifetime piano, like, and they'll like they kiss.
Meanwhile, right next door, just say it louder. And murder.
And then this is when the detective basically boots her. He's like, all right,
get the fuck out.
Night. yeah. If you don't get out of here right now, I will shoot you. Grace's like, yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I got it. I have, expectations and I don't need a police escort home. So romantic. But then she falls down basically and trips and she kind of does.
Yeah. And then there's a weird moment of like, so he's going back into his house and there's a light out, right? Yeah. Which it was there for dramatic effect, I think in like 2 seconds. So, but anyways, yeah. So he's like trying to change the light bulb or something.
Yeah.
And we cut back to, so Grace now going back to her sister's house, goes inside. Kathleen, where are you?
Best date ever. And Kathleen is dead finally.
Yeah, finally she's dead.
Thank God. As soon as we got into this movie, Thais was like, when did she die? Like kind of joking. And I was like, very soon. It was in the trailer. So presumably like immediately.
Yeah.
She didn't watch the trailer. So I think Thais was worried that Kathleen was going to be a main character.
Oh, no.
Wicked annoying.
So she's dead on the floor there.
Grace is sad and goes outside and screams into the darkness.
So she finds her dead sister, and just screams. And then the cop is like changing the light bulb, drops the light bulb, get a little shattered. What's happening? And he comes over and she's just like, rah! And cop goes in, does cop stuff, and Grace comes back up, and then he's like, she gone.
And so Grace is still sad, and then the real cops show up.
We're outside in police cars. Grace is there, kind of still sad, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And then there's a weird line that she's talking about how she's in there all alone, talking about her dead sister. Yeah. And the detective's like, well, you'll be with her soon. The Detective Ed goes, well, you'll be with her soon. And I was like, is that a threat?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you trying to comfort her or threaten her? I can't tell.
Yeah. Well, if you keep crying, lady, I'm going to shoot you myself. So you'll be there. You guys will be reunited.
Joining her before you know it.
And then we're at the police HQ. Right.
There's a quick inside scene with the detectives like over her body being like, oh, she's strangled with some kind of ligature. Super helpful. Thank you.
I hate this so much. The killer was posing all the bodies in a cross, like crucifixion kind of setup, right?
Kind of, yeah.
So
they explain that away later, kind of.
Do they? Because I was like, well, because like the school that the kid goes to, it's a Catholic school.
Is it?
But I don't. But it definitely is. Because like, and when they're in the in Kathleen's like classroom, there's like a cross over like it's like right there, and I think it's like a private like Catholic school or something. But I was like, I don't. Do they explain? They do explain.
They explain it away later because Grace is like, no, that's just how Kathleen's body fell. And so then they were saying her hypothesis was the second and third bodies they posed to look like Kathleen. So it wasn't that he was going for a cross; it was that he was trying to recreate the Kathleen scene more than anything else.
It just
she just so happened to fall kind of that way
with her legs crossed and her arm. Come on.
Even more frustrating.
Jesus.
They actively made the movie worse.
Jesus.
Like, guys, you know the thing that was almost interesting? Let's make sure that we explain it so that it's not interesting anymore.
Right, so we're at the police station now. This is the Ed Jennings there convincing his partner that they should take on the case. And the partner, who is definitely the best part of this entire movie, Ben, is just like, so you're telling me, he does one of those things? You owe me.
Very, like, he studied from the masters, Ice-T.
Yeah.
He worked on Law and Order also. He's seen an Ice-T or two. Wait, so you're telling me? You mean he likes to have sex with kids? I don't get it.
That's a pretty good Ice-T. That's pretty solid. Yeah.
I'm working on it for years.
I love how we're getting so distracted by other things because they're talking about this movie so fucking terrible.
Yeah, just putting off the inevitable. I hate this movie.
All right, maybe what if we motor through the movie like kind of fast and then talk about the Batman for the rest of it?
All right.
All right. So
we can do the best we can.
Yeah, we're hot taking here. All right, so we're police station. Partner's like, hey man, fucking let's take this case. And Ben's like,
you're on vacation. Why are you here?
Why are you doing this? Whatever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make any sense.
The partner's like, Ben's like, this is absurd. This is dumb. Why are you doing this?
This is stupid. He's like he is the moral compass here, and just like this all is a terrible idea. But no one listens to him.
Nope.
And then Grace comes in. She comes in to chat with the Hardy Boys here. And she basically tells the whole deal about the ex-husband and how Kathleen got a whole fraud thing, got paperwork, blah, blah, blah. And
Jonathan Breezewood is like embezzling money or something like
Jonathan
that.
Breezewood the third.
Right. Cool name.
Yeah, Jonathan Breezewood. Ed Wood here breaks the news and is just like, you know what your sister was up to?
Know about her clients. She's a teacher. What are you talking about? Her clients are the students of America.
Well, she had other students that she was
Ew, I don't like that.
Whip it into shape.
Let's not call them her students.
Oh, okay. No. All right. That is a weird. Okay.
From Fantasy Inc. Aptly named. They were like, guys, we spent too much time naming the characters. Jonathan Breezewood.
So what do we call the website? What would it be? Let's make it
like
really
somewhere make your fantasies come true. Sex Inc.
Sex Inc.
Ooh, Fantasy Inc. That's different enough.
So then she's like, yeah, I don't want to go home, and where will I ever stay? And
that's when we get our like very astute line here of like, based on the clothes we found, she was working as a dominatrix. Based on the clothes what does that mean?
What if she was in the costume parties? That doesn't. What?
Yeah. Why is it based on the clothes we found and not based on the records of her on her computer? No, based on the outfits that she had in her closet, she was definitely a dominatrix.
Because as we all know, leather says dominatrix.
So then, of course, Grace is like, "Can I stay with you?"
Yeah. And the partner's definitely like the partner. One of his best looks.
Come on,
like, really? It was basically just like, really? You sure about that?
Damn it!
This again.
If I had a nickel for every time you fucked the victim, I'd have 8 nickels.
All right, so we're at the cop house, right? The flop house here, and she's crashing on the couch. Makes some blah blah blah. They have a little chat. Nothing really.
Haven't seen my sister in 5 years. Like, what?
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Don't blame yourself. It's not your fault." She's like, "Well, whose fault is it?" And he's like, "The murderer,
the killer.
It's the murderer's fault,
yeah,
right?" And he's like, "Go to bed."
I don't think there's. I have 3 tables in my apartment. I could flip them all over, but I have to reset them to flip them over again because there's not enough tables around here to flip.
Yeah, I've only got 1 table, so I can't.
So then the next morning we wake up and we got some morning herbal tea here from Detective Ed Jennings, not a coffee guy, tea guy. Little A foreshadowed for later, little setup.
Caffeine's the problem. Caffeine's the point. Okay.
What?
Good conversation.
And then she's like, I want to help in this case.
No, that reminded me of Ted Lasso, because when she's like not doesn't just not want tea from him, she's disgusted by it. Which I love. It's like my favorite bit from Ted Lasso, when he's just like, oh, how do you drink this?
Yeah. Let's drink warm water and soak in leaf and dirt. I don't. I sure don't. Believe.
Exactly. So sorry, I just want to call out that she's disgusted by the tea. It's not just like, oh, I don't want tea, I just have an aversion to it.
Right. So Grace Lasso here, she's anti-tea, and she's like, but I'm gonna help on the case.
We're 1/3 of the way into this movie.
Yeah, we need to fast track a lot of this. So let's get moving.
Nightmare.
Yeah.
She's like, well, we all know the first 48 hours are the most important, right? He's like, please stop telling me how to do my job.
Are you mansplaining to me my own job?
Yeah, she's like, I want to go get my stuff out of the murder house. Do you mind? And he's like, well, it's kind of a crime scene, but I guess that's fine. So then they go to the house. In between, there's a million reporters outside, right? Like in between the two houses, being like, hey, can we get a word?
Detective Jennings, is this like your last case? Is the husband a suspect? Like throwing out all these things. What?
They go into the house, and Grace is wearing gloves so she can get her stuff without messing up the crime scene even more. Detective Jennings gets a phone call. Blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, Grace takes that as an opportunity to go upstairs and be like, I don't know, just like try and play detective, because she's not a detective again.
Yeah.
And then Grace is like, after Detective Jennings is off the phone, she confronts him. Is like, well, did you talk to the ex-husband yet? And he's like, of course. Like, obviously, it's the first thing we did.
Yeah, you always go for the lovers, right? Crimes of passion.
Then she starts asking about questions about the body and like, how was it positioned? Was she like on a cross? What do you think it was intentional that looked like she was on a cross? Like, how'd she die? And he's like, you don't want to know, lady. Like, this is your sister. Come on. Like, don't, But then instead of saying that, he's like, all right, well, guy came in through the back door, smashed some glass, left a shoe print, size 11.
Yeah,
he like goes through every single thing that they know,
every detail they have, and this is when they intercut, right? They intercut with the actual killer, like scenes of the killer actually doing it, right? So it's like, yeah. But then the husband's got he's got an alibi. He's hosting a political fundraiser, which is another red herring to make you think that maybe he was involved and did this because there's some political connection here. Not at all, which would be way more interesting. Than what it actually is. Yep. And then killer kills, and then
they focus on the defensive wounds. They're like, oh well, at least she fought back.
And then he's like, we should go, and she's like, okay. Scene end. Okay.
Yes, I hated that part. Yeah,
that's it for the day, folks. We'll have lunch. Let's get some lunch, and then we'll
bring it back on the next day. We'll see what happens on the next.
So then there we are at the Fantasy Incorporated HQ here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Our Hardy Boys show up. They're asking for client lists. This is kind of intercut with some stuff from the trailer as well, but it's like the
talking
CEO.
Like the CEO. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's just like, it's family business. Mother, brother, me, whatever.
Yeah. Here, you fuck your family.
Jesus Christ.
And she's like, wait, you think we had clients that had something to do with this? Like, that's impossible. She's like, most of our clients aren't even based in the US. She's like, we only have 30% of our clients in the US.
Bullshit.
What?
What? Like, why is that even a thing to bring up?
What does this mean? What are you saying? So then the detectives ask, well, do you record the sessions? And she's like, of course, we record all of the sessions. And he's like, well, great. Can we see them? She's like, well, do you have a warrant? He's like, yes, we have a warrant. And you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. Like, yep, and scene.
Next. Okay. Cut everyone for lunch. We're going to the next scene.
Like, at the end, like Ben just gives a little throwaway line about, he's like, well, Ed, I'm worried about you. Like, when you weighed in hip deep. And he's like, what?
That's so deep there, Ben.
Yeah. You're like, okay, well, next scene.
All right, we're at the school now.
Yep.
And this place looks like a castle, but yeah. So then we got Grace
is investigating.
Shot from the trailer. And we get, I don't know, man. If I were to get murdered, would you investigate my murder?
No.
Yeah, no, leave it to professionals.
I'd be like, this somebody's job is to do this.
There are people who actually know what the fuck they're doing.
Yes. I would just be a distraction for them.
And if you got murdered, I'd be like, well, I did once write a book.
Yeah, he did deserve it.
This is interesting, officers. He did deserve it. Oh, shit. Did I just put myself on a list? Oh, no.
Also, I've written a book or two in my day. I believe I'm famous for my instinct in solving murder.
I did research. Google, if you heard of it.
Yeah. Google much.
Google much. Detective Jennings. My friend was murdered.
Are you going to try to bang him?
Did he deserve it? Yes, he did.
Perhaps.
But that's not the point. Was he getting a little too pushy with his other host duties? Yeah. Perhaps.
He did Fast Facts a couple episodes in a row. People didn't like it.
Our numbers dropped, and I tried to bring him back. That's way more interesting than this movie. All right, we're at the school. This place is a castle. It's whatever. It's kind of cool. Grace is chatting with the principal or some lady that works there. She's like, hey, here's our classroom. She still has the same fucking Hamlet bullshit and Shakespeare shit written on the back here on a chalkboard, which is very clean. Pop quiz, motherfuckers. And then all the kids show up and they're like, oh, this is awkward.
Like, start filing in a line. No, I think they're intentionally there to see her. They're like, oh, we just want to talk to you about your sister.
Yeah, right? It was... What
a weird sentiment. Why would you do that?
Yeah, just show up to the funeral or don't. So yeah, the kids all show up and they're like, sorry about your loss there. And one's like, she wasn't like the others. She didn't hit us. And then
she understood us.
I mean, come on. Catholic private school. I mean, come on. Someone's getting hit.
But then the other kid's like, she was hard on me, but she was right.
The dummy from the trailer. Yep.
Okay.
Then we get a creepy dude who was watching Kathleen as she was leaving the school earlier, kind of red herring, setting us up for thinking like maybe this guy killed her. Of course, the guy who's the janitor.
Oh, well, right before that, that's when the nervous kid who is the murderer like doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
Which I wrote, the nervous murderer kid. The nervous nerd murderer kid is like, just walks past her and is like, sorry.
Clearly the kid who did it.
Yes.
So then janitor guy who's spotted earlier.
No, also another thing is that's when she finds the thing about the husband. This is when we get more red herring stuff.
Yeah. So but the janitor guy who was the creepy guy from earlier, he drops off the box of goods. She's going through it, and then she finds an aptly titled folder called Confidential, which...
Incriminating documents.
Yes. It's like a padlocked door in someone's apartment. It's like, well, I want to know what's in there.
Spoilers, it's Bobcat, or whatever what was the... in the...
Force of nature?
Yes. It's a leopard.
Yes. It's either a leopard or Nazi art. I don't know. Nazi stolen art.
Both? Why not both?
There's a leopard protecting the Nazi stolen art?
¿Por qué no los dos?
Jesus Christ. Or you're protecting the Zen. So yeah, we get confidential paperwork. That's cool. We do learn. So then outside, right? And then Grace runs into Baxter.
The murderer.
The murderer, right? And he's awkward as all hell. And he's just like, my mom's a senator. It's like another red herring of thinking like maybe it's a political thing, right? And she's asking all the wrong question. And then kid's like kind of trying to throw off the tracks. He's like, how about Billy Sachs, the janitor?
Well, yeah, Sachs. The kid's like being very obviously the murderer here. Like she's like, how'd she die? Do you know if the police have any suspects? He's like, sorry, I'm being insensitive. And she's like, well, maybe it was just random. And she's like, well, most murders aren't random. And he's like, well, yeah, probably it was that maintenance guy. Like that's what?
Because I know you're working this case there, author.
I saw one time she was upset and he was also upset. So if the two of them were upset, they must have upset each other. Therefore,
obviously. So Billy Sachs, the janitor, is now under the microscope here. They had some issues, blah blah, and they do a quick cut back to Billy Sachs. Literally a scene 2 seconds ago of him dropping off the box and be like, oh, that's who Billy Sachs is.
So stupid.
And then she runs into Billy or hunts him down, basically.
I think she hunts him down. I don't think she runs into him.
No, she hunts him down. And he's out there.
She tells the murderer, she's like, don't spread rumors.
Don't be a little piece of shit. And then she stalks down Billy Sachs here, the janitor. He's out back tossing some trash. And then she's pressing him. And I hate that they're playing the janitor as being like a little slow.
Yeah, I agree.
He's like really...
It's played out. It's offensive.
Right? And I don't like it. Not a fan.
Corners him by the dumpster. She's like, oh yeah, my sister's so beautiful, wasn't she? She could have been on TV. Well,
what do you know? Where is she?
Where is she? Right. Speaking of the Batman. And then basically she's like, well, Billy, everybody has secrets. And he's like, no, I just told her that I knew so that she'd be careful. I just wanted to keep her safe.
Jesus Christ.
I only watched that one time. He shows me the girls, their tapes. I recognize her voice, the way she moves. And that's what he's like. Yeah, my cousin, the weird webcam guy at Fantasy Inc. What does that mean?
That's just so coincidental. So
yeah, is he the IT guy? Like,
yeah, what's a webcam guy?
I don't know. Hilarious.
Are you a webcam guy?
I kind of want to be a webcam guy now.
Yeah, right.
It seems like a pretty easy job.
Right. So that's your webcam. It's built into your laptop, and that's it. I think we're done here. So we got a lot of finger pointing, a lot of moving down the totem pole here. So we went from Baxter, senator's kid, to pointing to the janitor. Now the janitor is pointing to the webcam guy. So based on that logic, webcam guy is at the bottom of the list, and that's where we're at. So I think this is a good spot. I think this is a good spot to stop what we're doing right now.
Good as any.
Who is the killer? Is it? No, we already know. We already spoiled that. So it's kind of pointless for me to even try and do that. A teaser.
Nope. Yep. Will this movie get more watchable?
Is the Batman worth watching?
Is there going to be a Charmed reboot? Maybe we'll talk about that. Is there going to be a Charmed reboot?
Will Ed Jennings drink coffee? Hard-hitting questions we have here at ITMT. You're going to hear them in part 2, though. So thanks for listening. We'll be back on Thursday with part 2. In the meantime, you should follow us on Instagram at It's This Meets That, or ITMT Pod on Twitter. And wherever you're listening to us, you subscribe.
Sup.
Right.
To Dingo and the Baby.
All right.
And while you're subscribing, you can also leave us a review. Hey, I really like those guys and how funny they do voices of other accents. That is funny. Or if you're feeling old-fashioned, you can send us an email. It's thismeetsthat@gmail.com. Or you can go to the website if you forgot everything we said because our outros are so long, and you're somehow still listening to the episode, which kudos to you.
All right. I think the gold is really the outros.
Do you think, I feel like I spend so much time on improv in the outros. Do you think anyone actually listens this far?
Why don't you ask them?
Yeah, if you do, send us an email or go to the website, it's thismeetsthat.com, where you can also find our contact information and send us more contacts and tell us that you listened all the way to the end when I do that promo.
Yeah.
We'll send you something nice.